Golang, it, it seems like it's everywhere these days. You
Yeah.
hear people talking about it at work.
Yeah.
You see it more and more in job postings.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
as developers, I think we all
Yeah.
know how important it is to
Yeah.
kind of stay on top of the new technologies, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to do a deep dive today into a roadmap to master Golang.
Nice.
And this roadmap is designed specifically for, mid-level and senior devs like you, the
Yeah.
listener.
Yeah.
And we're going to take you through this roadmap from the very basics to the more advanced concepts that make Golang really shine.
Cool. Well, what's interesting about Golang
Yeah.
is that it's unlike some other languages that are very complex
Yeah.
and dense. It's built with simplicity in mind.
Mhm.
But don't mistake that for being basic.
Right.
Golang is actually incredibly powerful, particularly when it comes to concurrency.
Yeah.
And building these like rock solid, high performance systems that are in such high demand these days.
Yeah, for sure. And I've dabbled in some other languages.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that initial learning curve feels like you're climbing Mount Everest,
Yeah. Yeah.
So what makes learning Golang different?
That's a great question.
Or is there even like why even bother with a roadmap?
Well, I think you hit on a key point there.
Okay.
You see, Golang has its own distinct flavor,
Right.
its own way of doing things.
Yeah.
And while it might seem straightforward on the surface, there are nuances that can trip up, even
All right.
experienced developers,
Yeah.
especially those coming from like object-oriented backgrounds.
Okay.
So this roadmap is really all about helping you bypass those common pitfalls and embrace Golang's
Yeah.
unique approach right from the start.
Gotcha. So it's like having a local guide when you're in a foreign country.
Exactly.
They can, help you avoid the tourist traps.
Yeah.
Show you the shortcuts, the hidden gems, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we begin?
Well, think of it like constructing a building, right?
Right.
You need a solid foundation.
Right.
And in Golang, that means getting comfortable with the core building blocks.
Okay.
Things like packages, functions, variables, and control structures. Now, these might sound familiar from other languages,
Yeah.
but Golang puts its own spin on them.
Wait. Are you telling me
Yeah.
even basic things like functions are different in Golang?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. So let's talk about multiple return values.
Okay.
In many languages, you typically return one value from a function.
Right.
But in Golang, you can actually return multiple values, which can
Interesting.
open up a whole new level of flexibility and elegance in your code.
So Golang is not afraid to
Yeah,
kind of break the mold a little bit,
exactly.
even at that basic foundational level.
Yeah.
What else should developers kind of know about these building blocks?
Well, Golang's approach to data types and data structures is definitely worth highlighting.
Okay.
It's incredibly efficient,
Yep.
and it's designed to work hand in hand with its concurrency model.
Gotcha.
So think about things like arrays, slices, maps, and structs.
Mm-hmm.
These are the tool you'll use to shape and manage your data in a way that makes Golang really sing.
All right. So we've laid the groundwork with packages and functions and these, efficient
Right.
data structures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see how this simplicity with power
Exactly.
thing works, right?
Yeah.
But what about, in the real world, errors happen, right?
Yeah.
How does Golang deal with errors?
Well, Golang's error handling mechanism is very deliberate.
Right.
It's built around what's called an error interface
Mm-hmm.
and a specific error type.
Got it.
And this might seem a bit unusual at first,
Right.
but it forces you to handle errors explicitly, which leads to more robust and reliable applications.
Yeah.
It's like having this built-in safety net
Mhm.
that catches potential issues before they kind of snowball into major problems.
Okay, so no more sweeping errors under the rug,
Exactly.
hoping for the best.
Yeah, no more of that.
We're facing them head on with Golang.
Exactly. You got to be explicit about it.
Yeah.
And once you get used to this explicit approach,
Right.
you'll actually find that it makes your code cleaner and easier to reason about.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Golang's error handling philosophy ties directly into how it handles another critical aspect,
Okay.
file I/O.
Okay, file I/O. Now we're talking about our program interacting with the outside world.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Reading and writing files.
Yeah,
Pretty important stuff.
absolutely.
So what's special about how Golang approaches file I/O?
So Golang provides a very streamlined way
Okay.
to work with files and directories.
Mhm.
You can read, you can write, you can create, delete, you can even manage permissions, all with very clear, concise code.
Okay.
But the real beauty is how this all integrates with error handling.
Yeah.
Every file operation has the potential to return an error.
Right.
And Golang encourages you to handle those errors gracefully every step of the way.
So Golang's not just about writing code, it's about writing
Yeah.
robust, reliable code
Precisely.
that can anticipate these things and handle these real-world scenarios.
Exactly. And speaking of real-world scenarios, let's not forget about databases.
Right.
Most applications, especially at the level you're working at,
Mm-hmm.
they need to store and retrieve data.
Of course.
And Golang handles this beautifully.
Okay, databases, now we're talking.
Now we're getting into it.
But, databases can be a beast to work with, right?
Yeah.
Different systems, complex queries.
Mm-hmm.
How does Golang make this any easier?
It absolutely does. So Golang offers this powerful package called Database SQL,
Okay.
which provides a standardized interface for interacting with various database systems.
Oh, nice. So this means you can write your code once
Oh, okay.
and seamlessly switch between different databases like MySQL or PostgreSQL
Right.
without rewriting everything.
That's clever. So it's like a universal translator for databases.
Precisely.
I like it.
And when it comes to actually interacting with the database,
Yeah.
Golang keeps things really intuitive.
Okay.
You use SQL statements,
Right.
just like you would with other database tools.
Gotcha.
Performing CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete.
Right.
Very straightforward in Golang.
All right, so we've got a solid foundation.
Yes.
We know how to handle errors gracefully. We can work with files. We can talk to databases.
Yeah.
What's next on our Golang roadmap?
Well, now that we've covered the essentials,
Yeah.
we can start exploring some more, how do you say it, exciting territory.
Okay.
How about we dive into the world of web development with Golang?
Now you're talking web applications. That's where things get really interesting. Absolutely. Welcome back. So, are we ready to build some amazing web applications with Golang?
Absolutely. We've laid a strong foundation, and I'm eager to see how Golang tackles the challenges of web development. So, where do we begin?
Well, one of Golang's greatest strengths in web development is its ecosystem of powerful frameworks.
Okay, frameworks, that makes sense. But with so many options out there, which ones should Golang developers really focus on?
Well, two frameworks really stand out in the Golang web development world, Jin and Echo.
Okay.
Both of these are known for their minimalist design and focus on performance.
Mm-hmm.
They provide you with the essential tools for things like routing, middleware, and template rendering without adding all that unnecessary bloat.
So Golang's philosophy of simplicity and efficiency extends to web development as well.
Exactly.
Interesting. But let's be honest, switching between frameworks can sometimes be a real pain.
Right.
Is there a steep learning curve if I'm coming from, let's say, a different background?
Not at all. Jin and Echo are designed to be very intuitive and easy to pick up, even if you're used to other web frameworks.
Okay.
They embrace Golang's core principles, making the transition surprisingly smooth.
That's good to hear.
Right.
I'm all for reducing friction when learning new tools. But before we get too deep into web development, can we take a step back and talk about testing?
Absolutely.
It's one of those things that is so crucial but often overlooked.
Yeah, it's essential.
Yeah.
Testing is paramount in any language, but Golang actually makes it particularly painless.
Okay.
It has a built-in testing package that's both powerful and easy to use.
Okay, a built-in testing package. So what types of tests can we actually write in Golang?
Well, Golang supports various testing methodologies,
Right.
but two of the most common and valuable are unit tests and benchmarks.
Okay.
Unit tests help you ensure that individual functions or units of code are working correctly in isolation, while benchmarks actually measure performance, helping you optimize for speed and efficiency.
So unit tests are like double-checking each step in a recipe, making sure it's perfect before moving on.
Exactly.
And benchmarks are like timing yourself to see how quickly you can whip up that gourmet meal.
Precisely. And Golang's testing framework makes it incredibly easy to write and run these tests.
Okay.
You just write your test functions, you run the go test command,
Yeah.
and Golang takes care of the rest.
Testing check. But now I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, concurrency.
Right.
Clearly one of Golang's standout features.
Yes.
But it can be a bit intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
What advanced techniques does Golang offer for, managing and synchronizing concurrent operations?
That's a good point. Concurrency can be tricky, but Golang provides a really elegant set of tools to make it manageable.
Okay.
We're talking about things like mutexes,
Okay.
wait groups, and atomic operations. These tools allow you to control how different parts of your program interact, and
Yeah.
share data when they're running concurrently.
Okay, mutexes, weight groups, atomic operations, those sound powerful, but could you break those down a little bit for us? Like, what do they actually do?
Sure. So think of a mutex like a lock on a door.
Okay,
Only one person can hold the key and enter the room at a time.
right.
In Golang, a mutex ensures that only one routine can access a shared resource at a time.
Gotcha.
This prevents data races
Right.
and ensures data integrity.
So like a bouncer at a club,
Exactly.
making sure that only one person enters at a time.
Yes, to avoid overcrowding. Now, what about weight groups?
Yeah. What about weight groups?
Weight groups are like a coordinator for a group of routines.
Well,
Imagine you're working on a group project and you need to wait for everyone to finish their individual tasks before moving on to the next stage.
right.
Well, a weight group in Golang allows you to synchronize the execution of multiple Go routines
Oh,
and ensure that they've all completed before proceeding.
so it's like a project manager,
Exactly.
making sure all the team members are on track.
Precisely.
Right.
Now, on to those atomic operations.
Okay, atomic operations. Those sound kind of mysterious.
Yeah, they sound a bit complex, but they're really not.
Okay.
Atomic operations are special instructions that guarantee that certain operations on shared data happen in an uninterruptible way.
Gotcha.
Think of it like having a dedicated high-security vault
Okay.
for your really critical data.
Gotcha.
This prevents race conditions where multiple Go routines might try to modify the same data simultaneously, leading to unpredictable results.
So it's all about ensuring the data integrity even when things are happening concurrently.
Absolutely.
These are powerful tools for sure
Yeah.
for managing all those complexities of concurrency.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of what Golang can do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are even more advanced Golang concepts that you can use to really elevate your coding skills.
Okay, like what?
So, for instance, let's talk about reflection and interfaces.
Okay, reflection and interfaces.
These are really powerful tools for writing flexible and reusable code,
Right.
which is, as you know, essential for building maintainable and scalable applications.
Yeah, absolutely. But reflection and interfaces, those sound intriguing but kind of abstract. Can you explain a little bit how they work in the context of Golang?
Sure. So think of reflection as Golang's ability to examine itself.
All right.
It allows your code to inspect the types of variables, analyze the structure of data, and even call methods dynamically at runtime.
So Golang code having self-awareness.
Exactly. It's like you're giving your code a mirror, letting it see its own reflection.
That's pretty cool. What about interfaces?
Interfaces are like blueprints for behavior. They define a set of methods that a type must implement.
Yep.
This allows you to write code that can work with any type that satisfies the interface, regardless of its specific underlying implementation.
Right, right.
It's like having a universal adapter that can work with different types of plugs.
Okay, I see. So instead of writing code that's tightly coupled to specific types, interfaces allow us to create more flexible and adaptable code.
Exactly.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
It is. And when you combine reflection and interfaces, you can achieve remarkable flexibility and code reuse.
Oh, yeah.
You can write functions that can operate on different data types, create generic data structures,
Right.
and even build dynamic systems that can adapt to changing requirements at runtime.
My mind is officially blown. Reflection and interfaces sound like real game changers for writing elegant and efficient Golang code.
They are.
Can you give us a real-world example of how you've used these concepts, maybe in a practical way?
Sure. Let's imagine you're building a system that needs to process data from various sources, each with its own unique format.
Okay.
Using interfaces, you could define a common interface for all data sources, regardless of their specific format.
Gotcha.
Then, using reflection, you could dynamically inspect the incoming data and adapt your processing logic accordingly.
Wow, so you created a data processing pipeline that's flexible enough to handle any type of data thrown at it.
Exactly.
That's impressive. It sounds like mastering these advanced concepts can really take your Golang skills to the next level.
Absolutely.
So what's next on our roadmap?
Well, we've explored a lot of ground, from those fundamentals to those advanced techniques like concurrency, testing, reflection, and interfaces.
Right.
But there's one crucial step left in our Golang journey, bringing your code from that development environment to the real world.
Okay.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll discuss how to build, package, and share your Golang applications with the world.
Sounds like a perfect way to wrap up our Golang roadmap. I'm excited to see how we can take all we've learned and turn it into something tangible. Okay, so we've really covered a ton of ground in our Golang deep dive.
We have.
Explored all the fundamentals, we've tackled some pretty powerful techniques.
Right.
And now I'm ready for the grand finale.
Right.
How do we take all this knowledge and actually launch our applications.
It's time to unleash your Golang creations.
Right.
And thankfully, Golang makes that process surprisingly smooth.
Okay.
It all starts with building and packaging your applications for distribution.
Okay, straightforward enough. What's the secret weapon in Golang's arsenal?
Well, Golang provides this fantastic command line tool called GoBuild.
Yeah.
It's really the workhorse of the Golang ecosystem when it comes to preparing your applications for deployment.
Go build sounds simple enough,
It is.
but what's actually happening under the hood?
So GoBuild takes your Golang source code,
Right.
compiles it, and then links everything together
Okay.
to create a standalone executable binary file.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of this is this binary can then run directly on the target operating system
Right.
and architecture that you specified without needing any external dependencies or runtime environments.
So no more headaches with virtual machines or interpreters.
Exactly.
Just a clean, portable, executable. I can see why Golang's becoming so popular for building microservices and all these other distributed applications.
Absolutely. It's all about simplicity and efficiency.
Yeah,
But let's not forget about dependencies.
that's a good point.
Most real-world applications rely on those external libraries and packages.
Right.
So how does Golang handle that?
Yeah, because managing dependencies can be a real pain in other languages.
It can be.
What's Golang's solution?
Golang has this built-in dependency management tool called GoMod.
Okay,
And it's really a game changer for modern Golang development.
gotcha.
It simplifies the whole process of defining, downloading, and managing your project's dependencies.
So no more manually downloading and installing libraries
Exactly.
or wrestling with all those version conflicts.
No more of that. With GoMod, you just list your dependencies in a file called go.mod, and Golang takes care of the rest.
Right.
It automatically fetches the correct versions, manages the dependency tree, and makes sure that everything works together seamlessly.
So it's a real time saver
Huge time saver.
and helps keep our projects nice and organized.
Absolutely. Keeps things nice and maintainable as well.
Okay, so Go Build handles the compilation, the linking,
Yeah.
and GoMod takes care of all those dependencies. So what are our options then for actually sharing our Golang applications with the world?
Well, you have several choices depending on your needs.
Okay.
You can distribute your application as a simple executable file
Right.
that users can download and run directly.
Gotcha.
You can package your application as a Docker container
Okay.
for easy deployment across different environments.
Right.
Or you can even publish your Golang packages as modules that others can use in their own projects.
Wow. So many options.
There are.
It's great that Golang gives us all this flexibility.
It does.
But speaking of sharing, I've heard that the Golang community is incredibly active and supportive.
They are.
What makes it stand out?
Well, the Golang community is truly amazing.
Yeah.
It's filled with really passionate developers who are always willing to help each other out.
That's great.
And you'll find countless online forums, discussion groups, meetups, where Golang enthusiasts are sharing their knowledge,
Yeah.
collaborating on open source projects, contributing to the growth of the language.
That's fantastic. So how can our listeners get involved?
Well, there are many ways to contribute.
Okay.
You can start by joining online communities like the Golang subreddit
Right.
or the Gophers Slack channel.
Okay.
You can also attend local Golang meetups,
Mm-hmm.
contribute to open source projects,
Yeah.
or even start your own Golang blog or YouTube channel to share your own knowledge and experiences.
So many ways to connect with and learn from others. It's inspiring to hear about such a welcoming and supportive community.
It is.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are ready to embark on this Golang journey?
Embrace the learning process
Yeah.
and have fun with it.
Mhm.
Golang is a powerful and elegant language,
Right.
and it's a joy to work with. Explore its features, experiment with different libraries and frameworks, and build something amazing.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
And if our listeners are looking for even more in-depth Golang tutorials and resources,
Yeah,
I highly recommend checking out the Pragmatic Reviews YouTube channel.
absolutely. Pragmatic Reviews is a fantastic resource for anyone wanting to dive deeper into the world of Golang.
They have an incredible collection of videos covering everything from the basics to those advanced concepts and all those real-world applications.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
So to wrap up our deep dive into the Golang roadmap, I encourage you to explore this versatile and really exciting language.
It is.
Whether you're building web applications, distributed systems, or command line tools, Golang has the tools and the community to help you succeed. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, Be sure to subscribe to Pragmatic Reviews on YouTube.
Yes,
Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
absolutely.
Happy coding, everyone!